Greetings, actives, and welcome to the August Founders Zoom. We are here once again, the 15th of the month with you, David and I, as always. For those of you who are new to Actives, welcome. It's great to have you with us. We like to do this Zoom on the 15th of every month. We like to give a little bit of a sort of focus on the high points, the things that we enjoyed the most and really stood out to us from the previous month. And we give you a little sneak peek for what's coming down the pipeline. And so here we are today, the August 15th, and we're going to be talking about last month and a little bit about what's coming. David, you and I were just commenting that it's difficult to believe that we're already in the month of August. I'm sure that many of you on this Zoom can relate to that. Time is flying. I don't know where it's going, but I can't believe we're at the tail end of the summer, and we're in the dog days of summer, and we've got some great things ahead. So why don't you get us started, David, and let us know how you're doing and how last month, what your take on last month was.
Well, hi, Ryan. Hi, everyone. It is fun to be with you again. I don't know if it's a mark of getting older. I hope not. I just celebrated a birthday. I won't say what one it was, but when you get older, it seems like we say this all the time. Boy, time sure is going by fast. And our grandkids are like, no, it's not, Papa. What are you talking about? It goes by slow. But I think the older you get, the more it just seems to race on by. And that's certainly true of this year. This summer has just whizzed by. But July was really great. I mean, a lot of times we will talk about primarily, we did this much revenue, we grew this percentage and all that kind of stuff. And we kind of forget or don't speak as much about really the underlying efforts, the meetings, the stories behind the numbers, because frankly, the numbers really aren't the most important thing. It's the stories and the impact that those numbers come out of. And so yes, we did have another great month. And this 2024 continues to be a strong year for the company. But of course, in July, we had the Momentum Deluxe trip in Cancun, Mexico, the largest event of its kind that we've ever had. And I think all in all, with staff, distributors, guests, all that kind of thing, I think we had like 400 people there. And it was kind of funny, Ryan. I had some of my family there, and my children are all grown, of course. I had my two younger boys, and they've been around Actives. They've been around other companies. They've been to events before. But it always cracks them up when people at like a resort will say, David Brown, una foto por favor. And, can you get one picture? And they're like, Dad, that just must make your head go so big. And I said, well, it is fun to take pictures with people. I said, but that's not the most fun part. The most fun part is at these resorts to see the other people who are not part of Actives they have this puzzled look on their face saying, why do these people want to get their picture taken with that guy? Who is he? Are we supposed to know him? And of course, the answer is no. But it does somewhat make you feel, special. And Joe Maroon and Jeff Boast, Dr. Maroon and Jeff Boast, who are both with us on that event, have commented on the same thing. They love feeling like rock stars. And so I guess we could say, if you want to feel like a rock star, join Actives and ask other people to join Actives also. I guess another thing I'd mention is that, we often hear the phrase timing is everything. And some people might say, are you serious? You went to Cancun in July? Are you guys crazy? And it was hot and it was humid. But, because of the timing that we went, we were not only able to get a great deal and provide a better event and a better experience, once in a lifetime event for so many people. But, Ryan, as you know, during the couple months of summer, I think July and August, or maybe June, July, is when the whale sharks are migrating to that part of the world. And so some of us had an opportunity to have a once in a lifetime chance to swim with the whale sharks, just because we happened to be there in Cancun in July. And I think, as cool as that was, people might say, well, when is the best time for me to join Actives? When is the best time for me to really start going and building your business? And the answer to that is always now. It's kind of like the answer to the question, when's the best time to plant a tree? And the answer is 20 years ago. Should have planted 20 years ago. But the best time there's no magic time. The best time is when you are excited, when you're going to put the effort into it, and you'll be amazed at opportunities that you may not have even known existed. Like when we first arrived there, we didn't know the whale sharks were around. We found out, but we had to get there first. And I think when people build their business and really jump in and really start going as hard as they can, that's when they find the opportunities that they didn't really anticipate occurring. So those are kind of some overarching thoughts I had about July. How about you?
Yeah, well, having been on that trip, that was a great trip. And actually, we were lucky because the weather was pretty nice. It could have been a lot hotter. And
Yeah.
at least every day that I went out, was saying, wow, it's not that bad. Maybe, I was in the shade, but what stood out to me really for the month of July and thinking about that trip and what it means, because we don't take these trips because we like to go on really frequent trips, right? And to all inclusive high end resorts, even though that is very nice. We do it because they're really, I mean, they're symbolic of something. They symbolize people's success. They symbolize hopes and dreams in some ways, but really they represent a small taste of what's coming down the pipeline for people. I had as you know, David, when we were there, we did one of our Latinos en Acción Zooms, and I and other members of the team, we were the lobby. If you've not been to the Royalton, the lobby, you walk in the lobby, and the back is sort of open with some columns, and you're just looking right out at the sea. It's like it's an incredible view just walking into the lobby. And there's some steps down and some patio space that overlooks all of the resort and the ocean. And so that's where we did sort of a live broadcast. And I had a couple people with me, distributors who I was interviewing, and their stories really stood out to me back then. And I want to share that with everybody today, because the events that we do, these Momentum Escape or Momentum Deluxe trips, have taken on a whole new meaning for me, and I think for a lot of people in the company. They are meant to motivate the masses, and I want to be really clear on that. They're not to just reward our highest leaders, our top leaders, but they're meant to reward the masses. Anybody who joins the company can qualify for one of these trips, and they're life-changing. They're life-changing in that, not because the food's great or you get to hang out with all the leaders in the company and meet corporate executives and the doctors, but they're life-changing because for many people, it's the first time they ever experience something like this. It's the first time anyone else has paid for them to travel with a loved one, a husband or wife or a child, to an all-inclusive resort where they're able to experience something that many of them have never experienced. One of the women that I interviewed, David, you remember I was talking to you about her. Well, her name was Griselda, and in her case, she had qualified. This wasn't the first time that she qualified. It was like the fourth or fifth time she had qualified for a Momentum Escape trip for us, but it was the first of something. And she was telling her story on this live Zoom, and she said, the first time I qualified, I had no luggage. My husband and I, we had zero luggage to our name. So we put our, little bit of clothes in some bags, plastic bags, and we got an airplane for the first time ever in our life. And we got to the event, we got to the trip, and it was incredible. And she said, same thing happened on the second trip, third trip. I guess this was her fourth trip that she went on. And she said, but through qualifying for these, my business also grew. The first time she qualified it as an A4. And she said, we were barely making money. We were making enough money to pay for our products, to pay for our cell phone bills, to put some gas in our car, to just cover some basic expenses. But by no means were we making a lot of money. But because we kept working and we qualified for the next one, and we helped other people qualify, our weekly and monthly checks started to get a little bit bigger. Then the third time, which is, cycling every 90 days, our checks were even bigger. We got more people on our team to qualify. And this fourth trip, and this was the trip that you and I were on in July, she said, this is the first time ever that we went out and bought new luggage to travel with, suitcases where we were able to pack our clothes. And she said, we feel like rock stars. We feel incredible. And we feel really, really blessed to be able to do that. And so she shared that story, and it really struck home to me that's another symbol for these events, right? They symbolize you being able to do things in life that you would otherwise not be able to do. Again, it's not about the trip. I think for me, for Griselda, and listening to her story, it's about her being able to show her children that look at she started her own business, right? She's sharing health and well-being with the world, and the result is their lifestyle is improving. They're being able to do more with their life, right? So, the suitcases are also a symbol of that success. But I thought that was a really cool story, and so probably one of my high points in the month of July. The other story that I'll share, and without going into too many details, because it really it's a difficult story to share. It was another distributor who I interviewed, and she said, this trip has been a real godsend, a real blessing for she and her kids, because when she started building ACTIVZ, which was just a handful of months ago, her family was intact. Her husband was there, and she said something happened. Her husband left, and basically left she and her kids. And she said, we had a choice. We could give up completely, or just keep moving forward. And she said, I decided to keep moving forward and to do whatever I had to take care of my family, because, her husband didn't leave her any money. And she said, I had no choice but to just build my business. And she said, and I built my business. And she said, and what I earned in my weekly commission through the Fast Start covered our expenses, saved us. I mean, she used that word, save. It literally saved her and her family. And she said, so this trip that we qualified for, it's a celebration for me and my kids that we are making it. And boy, when she shared that story, it really, it hit me hard that these trips, and it's not about the trip, it's about the business. It's about building your ACTIVZ business. But you build your business through qualifying for these ACTIVZ trips. And as you do it, I don't want to say they will save your life, but if you were to speak to the distributor that I'm talking about, she might argue with you, say, no, they did save us, right? They saved us because to qualify, we had to hit certain benchmarks. And by hitting those benchmarks, we made money. And that money allowed us to buy food. It allowed us to keep the lights on and to keep our stay ahead of our bills. So that was by far the highlight for me for the month of July. It was a month that went by fast. It flew by. Other highlights, David. It was incredible to spend the week with Dr. Joe Maroon and Jeff Bose. And I have so many fun and funny stories about them and about their interactions with our distributors down at the Royalton Resort in Riviera Maya. But the highlights for me were those two women who I interviewed that Thursday while we were there in July.
Well, the good news is, and those are wonderful stories, is that we call them once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, but they're going to come around more than once in a lifetime. In fact, we're now at the onset of another qualification period for what is sure to be an even greater event in January. And so we invite everyone to, if you've started running, keep running, run harder. If you haven't started running, now's a good time to start. And I couldn't help but think while you were counting both those stories of the phrase, again, once in a lifetime. Mm-hmm. To Griselda, they had qualified earlier, but it was kind of once in a lifetime, I guess, to even initially go on these trips and then for the first time ever buy luggage and have that opportunity and think about not only Griselda and her example and say, oh, I can do that too, but the person who introduced her to ACTIVZ and the people who have helped her grow her business, the upline leaders who helped her to build and know what to do also come to mind. Those people become part of Griselda's family history and lore. And the other woman, even so, sometimes we hope that we'll only have once in a lifetime moments, that some of the tough times that occur to us will only happen once, that they'll never happen again. And yet without help, sometimes those what we hope will be once in a lifetime challenges persist and go longer than we thought. And so I was thinking of the person who introduced her to ACTIVZ and those who have helped her. And again, how grateful she probably is to them that someone overcame their their hesitancy, their shyness, their concern about being rejected and feeling stupid, and nevertheless shared it. And boy, what a difference it made. And so I think the good news is that we all have the opportunity to have both of those once in a lifetime opportunities to share in the benefits and create something that we've never done before and have wonderful experiences.
Yeah.
And also through that sharing, help others overcome those hopefully once in a lifetime challenges. And we see both. We'll see more. And many on this call today can relate to both of those things. And if you haven't yet, the key is just share. That's, I think, one thing that if there's one thing that I think any leader, anybody who's earned a check from LifeVantage, I almost said, that was, well, I guess it's true at LifeVantage also here at ACTIVZ, is that you share. You don't benefit in life without sharing what we have with other people. And when you do, your results, your benefits are multiplied. And so I guess before I say something else ridiculous, I better stop and turn the time back to you.
Not ridiculous at all. I will often call this company New Skin or Tishanoni or whatever other company that I've spent years at also. And it's interesting because we're all part of the same industry, and this industry is it's I used to think it's sort of a small boutique industry. It's growing really fast, but we do share a lot in common, and so I think it's perfectly fine. I'll just share kind of in closing here what I'm excited about. And I also want to remind everybody that, we're in the month of August. Tomorrow, I'm boarding a plane to go to an ACTIVZ Academy for our new A8s and above, new A8s that are going to be down in a city called Querétaro, which is outside of Mexico City. But around the corner, we've got the U.S. event, and that's going to be exciting. It's going to be in Utah in the month of October, and we'll have English translation available. It's going to be largely in Spanish, with the exception of people who don't speak Spanish. They'll be speaking English, but we'll provide translation for people. And that's going to be an exciting event. And then right around the corner from that is our anniversary event. We're going to be celebrating 7 years. So I've been thinking a lot about this lately, a lot about where we've been and where we're going. More about where we're going than where we've been. It's kind of interesting. Sometimes we think about an anniversary event, you celebrate what's been. And I can't, it's hard for me to think about that. It's more, my head anyways is about where we headed, what's next. And we've got some incredible things going on. David, we've been having a pretty significant group of people. One of the things that we did at the event in July was everybody in attendance is participating, is being one of our guinea pigs. They get to be a guinea pig, and they're testing a new product that we've been working on, which is really, really interesting. And it's really a good companion, will be potentially a good companion to all of our other products. And it does something very different than what they do. So we're testing that. We may be releasing that at some point. We haven't made any announcements, but we do have a lot of cool things coming down the pipeline. Some new technologies that we're going to be implementing very, very soon, and some new features in the app, features in the back office, things that will be more easy for you to do, will help facilitate you doing your business more easily. Struggling with English a little bit here. So I'm excited about all of that. But really, guys, what I'm excited about is replicating what we just did in July, right? The group of almost 400 people, that was a very, very special group. And the people statistically, just so you know, who qualify for these and attend, have a much greater likelihood and probability of continuing the business and actually reaching their goals and succeeding just by qualifying for these incentive trips. And they're not hard, right? Enrolling 5 people, helping them duplicate with 1 person, teaching everybody about the benefit of auto ship. That's what gets you there. You got to grow in the month of September over where you were in May. May, I think, for most people was your biggest month. You got to grow a little bit over that month, right? If you've already qualified for one of these trips before, you need to grow by 5%. 5%, right? Very doable. When you do that, we're going to pay for you and a loved one to take an all expense paid trip to the Riviera Maya. Again, it's what I understand. I'm being told it's one of the most premium places there in the area for you to experience sort of an all inclusive best in class experience. So make sure you're qualifying for that. We're in the month of August. You've got 2 weeks left, right? You've had June, July, and this month. This month, you have to complete your enrollment. So if you don't have your 5 enrollments completed, you need to complete that, and you need to help each one of them enroll at least one person, at least one new business partner with a 200 PV pack. Each person has to be enrolled in AutoShip, and then you have the month of September to focus on your overall volume and grow. But guys, we're down to the wire here. 2 weeks. Now, I believe that anything can be accomplished in 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a short amount of time, but it's enough time. It's enough time for all of you listening to this to qualify. We want you to be with us in January 15th through the 19th, right? Down again in the Riviera Maya. It's going to be an incredible experience. We have some people that have never attended, that have never gone before with us. First of all, Dr. Joe Maroon and Jeff Bose are going to be, again, providing a VIP training, exclusive training just for the people who qualify. And we also have Dr. Camilo Cruz, who some of you may not know who that is, but he's an author. He's a motivational speaker. He is an incredible coach. I never knew him really until last June. We had him at an event, and he blew our wigs off. Before that event, Dave and I wore wigs. Now that's not true, but he blew our hair back. I mean, it really was an incredible training. So he's agreed to show up, and he's going to be there, not the entire week, but for some of the week. And again, if you want to sit at the feet of masters and learn and just really invest in yourself, because that's what this is about, and do what you need to do to level your business up. Well, the best way to do that is taking control today, deciding today that you're going to qualify for that trip, and do it. Just go do it. Find your 5 business partners. Help them find at least one business partner, right? Teach people how to get on AutoShip, and that's it, guys. And then you have all the month of September to just grow a little bit. If this is your first time qualifying, all you need to do is hit the rank of A4, right? A4, that's 500 PV total in group volume. You can do that. Very, very doable. Guys, that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited to see how many of you are going to be at this event with us in January. Look forward to seeing you also in October in Utah. We're going to have an incredible US event. And let's not wait for the month to end before we take action. Take action today. These are the last 2 weeks that you can qualify for that January event. January, it'll be freezing cold here in the US. Everywhere in the US is going to be cold. You're going to want to be in the Riviera Maya. Take my word for it. You're going to want to be there basking on the warm beaches of Cancun and learning from and interacting with all of our top leaders. So anyways, that's my challenge that I'm going to issue to all of you today. Every single one of you, make sure that you qualify. And if you've already been in ACTIVZ for a while, don't qualify by yourself. Think about the people who you have on your team who could really use this, who could really use a trip like this, right? I know that you know people who really need something like this in their life. A little bit of success, help them earn that those checks that come when you hit A4, but really get them to Cancun. We will pay for it. We'll get their flights covered. We'll pay for the entire week. We'll pay for it. You just get them to qualify. How's that? So that's all I got. Guys, have a great rest of your month. And David, give you the last throwback to you.
Well, all I want to say is amen, brother. I think that's great advice. And if any of you have watched game shows and watched people win all expense paid trips and thought, man, that'd be kind of cool. I'd never win anything. I wish I could win the Publishers Clearinghouse. I wish I could win the lottery. Well, you know what? You don't have to sit back and wish. Just take action. Do what others have done and have proved possible over and over again. You all have the capabilities and the know-how and the vehicle to do it. So treat yourself to a trip, and we'll be there alongside you. So on that note, have a great rest of the month. We look forward to seeing you again next month.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great August.